The session 6 is Sustaining Peace. My name is Ichsan Malik. I'm a lecturer in Nature of Conflict and Conflict Resolution in Indonesia Defense University. In this session, we will talking about the reconciliation, justice dilemma, roadmap of development, and gender mainstreaming in the process of sustaining peace. The situation of sustaining peace is called by Johan Galtung in 1990 as a positive peace. That is mean that situation where social harmony, economic equality, and political justice is formed. It is the situation of sustaining peace. A comprehensive reconciliation process is needed from all parties involved in the conflict. Of course, several dilemmas in reconciliation should also be resolved, such as the dilemma for justice, the economic dilemma, as well as ensuring the involvement of women in the peace process. What is the reconciliation means? Reconciliation process is process to restore the humanity in all groups, including the perpetrator and especially the victim. Constitute a new moral order, change attitude and belief, and organization of interaction pattern with the enemy of group. It is the definition from the Van der Merwe in 1999. The reconciliation process is a long process, very complex and complicated. To make it simple, we will drive to the discussion into two major parts: reconciliation spectrum and reconciliation in action. Reconciliation spectrum include three major elements, namely reconciliation as a process, reconciliation as a goal, and reconciliation from actor involvement perspective. Reconciliation as a process is a long and continuous process of psychological change that includes changing motivation, changing life goals, changing belief, attitude, and emotion. Krybel elaborate 7 stages in reconciliation cycle. The first stage is to build a new relationship. After conflict, trust no longer exists. Each party must have the courage to take the risk of establishing a new relationship. Interaction and information sharing will help to build trust between the two parties. The second stage is the occurrence of new injury. When the expectation of the two parties do not meet, or when one party feels insulted, or when one party feels that the other party betrays them, new psychological scares are formed. The third state is withdrawal, which may take form of psychological or physical or emotional withdrawal. This happens after a new injury occurs. Each party evaluates even and feeling toward the other party. If there is no immediate and appropriate effort to address this or no apology is made, the trust will be lost again and the newly built relationship breaks again. The fourth stage is reclaiming identity. The first thing that is destroyed in violent conflict is human identity. Identity is the most fundamental thing in the reconciliation because conflict makes people feel and behave like demons. Restoring identity includes raising self-awareness as a person and self-affirmation that he or she is a person who is wise and well-behaved. Internal commitment to reconciliation. This is a turning point after the withdrawal and restoration of identity. Both parties are rationally aware of the importance of reconciliation. The sixth stage is the restoration of risk. After the suffering of the past, the emergence of new injuries, which is followed by the courage to take a risk to improve the relationship. Risks have to be restored because of the courage to take a risk is the basic capital to build trust, which will then lead to reconciliation. Negotiation to meet present need. Past death, trauma, and abuse must be discussed and negotiated to find a way to meet the present need. Negotiation about human life seem almost impossible to do, and it is impossible also to replace it with any compensation. Nevertheless, it still must be done. Negotiation can only be done if both parties feel free, not oppressed. Also, it can only be done in conditions where the relationship between the individuals, group are relatively normal. Justice dilemma. Yeah, justice is a very crucial element in peace. Peace without justice is not peace. In the context of peace, there are three actors or parties of interest in justice existence. First is the offender or perpetrator group, included wrongdoing and crime in conflict or war. The second is the victim group, those who become a victim and suffer during the conflict or war. Third is the affected group, these who receive this effect and destructive impact of the conflict or war. By focusing our attention on certain actors in conflict and peace, we identify the retributive justice and restorative justice. Retributive justice is focused attention on the offender or perpetrator. This motivation for revenge and desire to give the maximum punishment is justified in retributive justice. The slogan, "A life for a life, an eye for an eye." In contrast with the retributive justice is restorative justice. Focus more on a victim, with the main focus on repairing the relationship between victim and offender, and the community, the healing after wounded, apology, and forgiveness. But until now, there's still debate and tug of war between human rights defender and peace builder, which is more important, retributive justice or restorative justice. There are two main issues, namely impunity for offender and also pseudo forgiveness. It means that the dilemma in the justice still there. It is our problem in reconciliation. The roadmap of development. It's not so easy to determine what we should build and achieve after the conflict. Economic welfare, political justice, or security sector reform, or leadership after conflict. The Aceh experience is quite interested in the roadmap of development. Aceh experience is very interesting. They starting with the implementation of Islamic Sharia first as new value and Aceh identity. This focus on the local political capacity building and as well as economic development. The first two things have been running and developing until now, but economic welfare has not developed much and could become a problem in the future. Gender mainstreaming. We should agree since the very beginning on the perspective of woman involvement, woman's role, and woman position in the peace building. Gender mainstreaming is not just involvement of women. It focuses on how, since the beginning, the government, the NGOs, the security forces, and also the international organization have used gender lenses at every level in every peace building activities. Is the meaning of gender lenses? Gender analysis requires data on how war and violent conflict have different impact on the two gender. The woman must involve in the peacekeeping activities, peace talk, mediation, grassroots reconciliation from the start or from the beginning. Gender equality. To equal opportunity, resources, and the respect between man and woman. The position is equal in the peace building process. Gender representation. Peace building activities must fully involve women and women organization at various stages of their activities. Women leaders and their organization need access and relationship with all of the peace building actors for present their analysis and idea. To closing our session, I would like to underline 2 points for us. 2 points, the important point, I think, from my experience. First is in the reconciliation process or to guarantee the sustaining peace, strong leadership is very important to bridge the dilemma between retributive justice and restorative justice. The leader should choose one, starting maybe with the restorative justice or retributive justice. Dilemma is sometimes become the problem in the reconciliation process. Second, the rule of the CSO, the regional organization, and also internal organization is very, very important to ensure the realization of sustainable peace. Thank you very much for your attention.